We made it to the Canaries! This video is being brought to you from a rather rolly anchorage, so if it makes you feel seasick, me too. After the worst sailing passage of our lives, we have made it. And we are ready to prepare to sail across the Atlantic Ocean. Bring it on. So first things first, it was a bit of a rolly passage on the way here, and before any Atlantic crossing, if you have an engine on board, you've got to give it some TLC and some maintenance. Over to Tony.
Thanks, Bryony. In Spain, I noticed that we had a leaky raw water pump. I was advised by Beta Marine just to change the whole unit because the seal inside the water pump is quite a difficult job to replace. So I've pulled it off and it doesn't actually seem that bad. O-ring is still intact, doesn't look like there's much wear on it. The shaft is alright. There is quite a bit of growth or calcium buildup on the inside, but overall it doesn't look too bad. So, well, I'm going to replace it anyway. But yeah, probably be a spare. Or I can use spare parts on it if I need it in the future. But yeah, so far it's going okay.
Done.
Done. Need to see if it leaks. I didn't actually put any sealant on there. I'm going to see if it does leak or not. Because it didn't come on with any gaskets, so I'm curious to see.
Engine done. Next job, and we have a big thank you here, is to fix our Hydrovane, which broke in the chaos of our episode in the middle of our Gibraltar Strait drama, we'll call it. We got in touch through our Starlink with Hydrovane pretty much ASAP once everything had settled down to be like, look, we're about to cross the Atlantic. This bit has snapped. It was user error, our fault, no fault of Hydrovane itself. Is there any way you can expedite a new bit being sent? They were hot on it, and in no time we had that new piece. So Tony's got some fixing to do.
And the bit that snapped was this contraption. We've got a replacement bit, which is here. So that's a new upgrade. They did recommend, Hydrovane did recommend us upgrading it because it is stronger. So it's what we need. I've just taken the backing off so I can get towards the back of this, and I need to get to this bit at the back, the rod, which replaces the whole thing. It doesn't look like it's going to be too difficult, but we shall see. If I don't drop anything, then hopefully it will be alright, but if I start dropping stuff in the sea, then we're going to have problems.
As it turned out, we weren't the boat with the problem.
I think these guys have just pulled up an outboard on their anchor. I have no idea if that's the case, but from here it looks like an outboard.
Tony called me up after watching other people in their own tenders just dinghy on by without offering to help. The guy had jumped in the water and they were clearly struggling, so he went to the rescue. Good job, Skipper. Good deed for the day done. Back to the Hydrovane.
I've put the bobbin and con rod system in. I just need to put the grub screws in with a bit of Loctite. The issue I had was releasing these, I don't know if you can see them, these ball joints I could not get the sleeves out to release this metal ball joint as such. I had to leave the old one in place. I think it works. Hard to know for sure, but everything moves freely. Find out when we're out there.
My favourite bit is coming up. Provisioning. The food list was this long. The amount of food we ended up with, well yeah, you're about to see it, but this was my personal highlight, I think. So they say not to play with your food. As you're about to see, things got a bit silly and that rule went out the window. What's today, Tony?
Today is provisioning day.
How much food are we gonna buy?
That's like loads.
This was just the first trolley of food. I cannot tell you the poor woman's face when we rocked up with the second. And then I got to labelling all of every single tin that was about to get packed in a very special way, because Tony has some sort of magical skill set when it comes to squeezing absolutely everything into a single cupboard or drawer. Yep. By the time he finishes, sometimes I don't think there's a single atom of oxygen left. And somehow nothing quite makes you feel like you're about to set off on a big adventure than when your fruit nets are packed full with fruit and veggies. Then we stopped all our hard work for a little while because we were treated to a pretty cool firework display in the anchorage.
He's our vegetable pal for the trip. The mean green pepper.
We let the mean green pepper enjoy a little bit of sunbathing because we knew what was coming up.
Tony, a few words in memory of the mean green pepper.
We haven't even left yet.
The medium green pepper, not the mean green pepper as I had originally read and got confused by, went into the crock pot with a large chunk of beef and various other bits ready for the first meal to be made. Of course, a stir fry always needs to be on the menu. I found one with peanut butter. Why? Because our Captain Tony loves peanut butter.
Started at 9 o'clock this morning, bright and early, but I've made a lot of food. So we have got, I'm going to freeze it all while we're underway. We can just defrost and use as needed. We've got cheese and veg bake, 2 lots of 4 portions of that. We've got 3 lots of 4 portions of ratatouille. I'm done, I'm never cooking again. Ever. So I'm tired and that garlic is hot. Tony, what are you going to eat first?
I don't know, the peanut sounds
I thought you'd go for
inviting.
that. We've got peanut butter in it.
Yeah,
fiend.
that's good for me. We've managed to fit it all in the bottom layer of the fridge. So hopefully it will start freezing and we can put all the refrigerated stuff on top of it. Bryony can spend another day just cooking away.
I'm not doing that. I've been insanely excited to talk about these guys. These are the coolest guys we have ever met. They're George and Russ. We met them in the Canaries. They'd actually rowed to the Canaries from Portugal to row all the way across the Atlantic to the Caribbean. Unfortunately, they'd had a few equipment failures, so they were forced to stop in the Canaries. We came across them, befriended them, and they really kindly gave us a little tour of their vessel.
I'm George, this is Russ.
Evening.
Together we are Team Oar Blimey and we're rowing across the Atlantic with an aim of raising £250,000 to help local dementia charities. This is our boat.
Isn't she awesome? Has she got a name?
And the boat is the Innovation Nottinghamshire Memory Boat. So this is all our energy is powered by solar panels, and we've had to replace this back panel. It's not quite the same size as the one that came off, but we had to replace that before we go across the Atlantic. This is our back storage compartment for the rudder and everything else thrown in. It looks,
Our equivalent of the lazarette.
it is exactly the lazarette. It looks untidy and unorganised, but it is organised.
It's a system there somewhere.
Yeah. We have one luxury item. I would recommend highly a beanbag for everybody.
Tony has always declined our rights to a beanbag, so that's it now.
A little parachute anchor, a little drogue, just in case it gets too windy. We've got some spare water. These guys are the toilets, and we use one at a time, but just in case we lose some, we've got 4.
Important bit of kit, that.
Yes. Beanbag, life raft, rowing position. So we sit on here, strap our feet into the footlocks, and we just row. And this is our bridge, our captain's room, and this is the chart plotter and the instrumentation and the mess of clothes and food. And we're water maker, and we're batteries and everything else. Oh, and this is our jet boil. This is how we make our hot water, and we mix that with the dehydrated food, and we have some gorgeous, lovely meals. Over and out.
Yeah, and that's the point of no return as well. That is a big drop of whiskey in that.
This is our celebration. Right, for every waypoint we come to, we can have a drop. It was a long way down from Portugal. Big waypoint, but we've got a lot more waypoints.
That's awesome. We need a waypoint whiskey.
Tony had a little mooch around and an explore of a very different vessel to our own, whilst our crew member Paul just couldn't resist having a go on the oars.
To hold them. Apart from the one on the inside, we took that off because
The following afternoon, we were stood on that same dock, saying goodbye to 2 of the bravest men that we have ever met, as they set off to row across the Atlantic. Please consider donating to the 2 coolest guys we have ever met via the link below to raise money for dementia charities. I'm going to take a minute just to introduce our crew for the Atlantic crossing. As per before, our insurance requested it at the start, so we got 2 people. Then the insurance changed and they didn't care, but we kept our 2 people. So we've got Paul and we've got Jackie, both are sailors already, and they are with us to get their Yachtmaster Ocean, which is a pretty big deal. And just like that, it's the night before we leave. So it's final preparations, going through the grab bag, doing the safety brief from Tony. Let's get going.
It was a bank holiday, so we couldn't fill up at the marina. Instead, we went back and forward to the local fuel garage. So at the moment in here is 2 bottles of 2 litres water. So we got 4 litres of water. Bryony's put in sodium chloride and glucose. She insists on having it in here. We got 4 flares, 1 not smoke bomb, water bomb, and 2 parachute flares. We got extra flares in the flares box in there, and then we got some food really, so it's just canned food and these rice bags. I'm thinking about putting more water in there. I'm going to be putting the Iridium Go in there and a spare battery to charge it just in case. And I think that, we got some foil blankets and there's a couple of Mars bars. Yeah, that is about it. And this will live underneath that bottom step.
Where's the EPIRB hiding?
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me, Bryony.
You're welcome. Even after your sass.
Yeah, so the EPIRB's at the front.
Eyes on it, Tony.
And we've got a VHF, waterproof VHF that's fully charged in there as well. So here's one of the through holes, and that's for the anchor locker, which just drains into there. I don't think it's got anything else connected onto it. So yeah, that's the only one that's this area, and then there's 4. We went through all the safety aspects through the boat, including where the seacocks are located, the fire extinguishers, and generally a run through of the layout.
We're ready to sail across the Atlantic Ocean, which is a dream come true. So please, please, please join us next week as we set sail to do the greatest thing that we have looked forward to doing for so long, and we've talked about it to you guys for so long. It's finally here.
Join us next week for the beginning of our dream come true and our biggest adventure yet, sailing across the Atlantic Ocean.